probably never heard of maple syrup urine disease or syndrome. This is probably not that rare simply because it only affects about 1 in 185,000 people. So you guys are probably wondering, why should I care about this if it's such a rare genetic disorder? Well, you guys could be carriers, and wouldn't you want to know if your children could possibly have this horrible disease? I'm going to tell you more about maple syrup urine disease by telling you how or what it is, first of all. Second of all, how do you get it? And third, what are the treatments for it? So maple syrup urine disease is basically a disorder in which your body does not provide the sufficient amount of enzymes to break down food or proteins. So the way our body works is we have our genetic makeup tells us to create enzymes which breaks down amino acids, food or protein or whenever you eat anything. But in MSUSD, your body is missing those proteins, as you can see in the chart in front of you. Now the proteins that are missing are called leucine, isoleucine, and valine, and then they form BCAAs, or branch chain amino acids, which is just a fancy word for saying protein. When your body cannot break these proteins down, they become very toxic. And according to the Madison Foundation, this toxicity causes harm to causes mental retardation, physical disabilities, and can even lead to death. So some of these symptoms are fatigue, coma, seizures, and cerebral edema. Cerebral edema, this is our normal brain function, and then here it's fluid accumulation in the brain, and this causes pressure, and pressure in the brain is obviously not a really good thing. According to Greco-Mannix, there are 3 types of MSUSD. There is the classic MSUSD, there is intermediate MSUSD, and intermittent MSUSD. These depend on the enzyme deficiency of the individual. Rebecca Bray stated that classic MSUSD has an efficiency level of 0 to 2% of a normal human being. Intermediate has an efficiency of about 3 to 8%, and intermittent only has 8 to 15% of normal. Most people have classic MSUSD, that's around 75% of all patients. How is this disease carried? It is a genetic disorder, so both parents must have the recessive trait for it. So, according to DNA Direct, there is a 25% chance that parents that are carriers of MASD will have a son that is affected by it. There's a 57% chance that they would just have a carrier child, which means you're not affected, but you're still carrying. And then there is a 25% that no one is affected by this disorder. The genetic because it is a genetic disorder, according to DNA Direct, some of the Mennonite populations, which is the Amish population here in the United States, 10% of their kids actually have this disorder, and it's like if 1 in 185,000 people have it, it's a really common between them. And then in the Ashkenazi Jewish ancestry, 1 in 81 people have it, simply because they intermarry into that religious. Now for treatment. According to Medline Plus, treatment involves a very strict diet because it's the protein that is causing you harm. You have to be in a protein-free diet. This means you can't have any meat. Babies can't have their own mother's milk. They have to get low protein milk. There's another treatment This is a bit more rare, and it was just discovered in 1997. According to Wendell, because the liver is where most of our enzymes are, and that's where we break down most of our food. If we can somehow find a way of replacing the liver, in theory, it should solve the problem. This is proven in 1997, where according to Strauss, an eight-year-old girl received a full liver transplant, and within hours of receiving that transplant, her BCAA levels normalized. They were no longer toxic, and 8 years later, she's fine. She's okay. So now you know what MSUSD is.